How we go from here to the next steps of putting together this overarching kind of plan approach that finally goes to the City Council. So we're going to do a summary of this. Dr. Ellis, Wally, you're going to help us do the summary of this, write it up. We will distribute that to folks via email, people who are here, and other folks. We'll just make sure it gets out. You all can comment on it. If you want to have some other suggestions, bring them back to us. Let's hear your feedback. Dr. Ellis is going to then take some of this information, or this information, plus the information that he's received from both the council at our study session meetings, as well as the information that he got from the various outreach group meetings, and begin the development of his final report to us around strategies, around different methods of implementation. He presented to us several strategies in the past. I think from this, we're going to try to distill where the council is, where the community is going. And actually, I think we're getting some direction, and Omo can help wrap that up. I will say today that we have one last council meeting, which is Tuesday. And given that there is some interest in possibly holding another meeting, not sure it's a 2.5 day, not sure it's a 2 day, not sure it's a half day, but the council is going to take it up on Tuesday. It's the last meeting of the year. So we're going to tee it up, special meeting. I still have a chance. We still have a chance on Monday to announce it. So that will be on the agenda for discussion on Tuesday. Council can talk about it. You all can come too. So there may be a follow-up to this retreat, because we heard it, right? We don't want it to fall on deaf ears. Figure out how that works. If we do that, then of course, our good friend Dr. Ellis is going to have to wait for a little more information. We will try to put that, if we do that, we will try to put that half-day retreat together. Possibly what we may do is from those people who are here, right, in the council, we'll get a smaller group of us to say, okay, let's plan that out collectively. So we all feel comfortable with that. And we'll cast a wider net next time. So once the report is done, with assuming that we have the information from this retreat and the other, and possibly the other one, then Dr. Ellis will present to us these options that have come up from these discussions. That document will go to the Measure C folks, the committee, so they can kind of mull it over, kick it around, say, hey, this is good, we don't think this works. Those comments will be integrated and then come to the council. And then the council will figure out then, all right, some real tough decisions, winners and losers, as Michael McAfee said. What are we going to concentrate on? There'll be an open process. People will be able to come to that meeting. Maybe there'll be a study session, and then there'll be the final discussion. We would like to get this done by October, and I think everybody in this room would like to get this done in October. So we're hoping that sometime in October, probably the end of October, we could get there. Let's see where we are. But as you see, there are some feedback loops back and forth. It's going to go to the Measure C committee for you guys to comment on. Then it'll come back to us. And ultimately, all water runs downhill. And we happen to be, as the council, downhill. So the tough questions are going to be for us. So that's about it. Any questions about that? I want to kind of move on to Dr. Satterwhite, but you had your hand up.
Well, I just wanted to say that we do have a placeholder retreat site at Stanford University for the first week of September. Great. So that's, you might want to consider that in your discussion.
Okay, and I know that DLA Piper is also available. The ground floor of DLA Piper is also available.
So we've got about 10 minutes.
Got 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So you can see, even though some of the dots are hard to see, on the dotting, the sentiment in the group is decisive. That on question 1, should funding be targeted to address specific violence prevention activities? Only one person said no. On question 3, should the city provide 1-year or multi-year grant strategies for targeted Measure C strategies? Then only one person said no. Should we fund programs as part of violence prevention strategies or individual programs? Everybody said strategies. If the city opts to fund strategies, should some money be allocated for individual programs? This is about 16 votes, this is about 8 votes, and so it's almost, even if I don't have the numbers exact, it's about 2-to-1 favoring setting aside some money for individual grant make of individual programs, while the majority or the target, the priority would be for funding strategies. And then lastly, should funding be tied to performance and quantitatively based outcomes? There is nothing. So when it comes to the strategies, this is just a rough grouping. Some people put up information or fill out posters and name the population that they wanted served. Other people named program areas that they wanted served. Other people named actually broader conditions that they wanted served. So this is just a rough cluster, but let me do it really quickly. Education, increase high school graduation rates, high school dropout rate, focus on suspended students, educational quality improvement. Re-entry, educate on how to cope youth re-entry individuals, re-entry strategies for incarcerated or suspended youth, parolees, re-entry programs for youth, re-entry of ex-offenders, re-entry for youth, educating our youth and re-entry ex-convicts, so re-entry. These all three just simply say gang, prevention, or intervention. These are about parent development, so parent training and awareness of and reduction of gang involvement, parent education, financial literacy and financial capability for youth and families, case management to coordinate and help navigate community resources, family counseling, all those around that in that cluster. Then there's a cluster that are just really kind of vague and probably could fit on all of these. This says family youth development, family youth development, holistic families, cradle to career, a cradle to career, leverage other funding, services to youth and adults. So all of those are kind of like generic, but they target that population. This one says targeting youth from ages 10 to 18. This one says 5th to 12th grade, so that's the same population. This one says teen volunteer opportunities. This says teen employment opportunities. And so probably I would put this one over here because maybe the emphasis is on employment, not the age group. This says youth that don't do well in other programs. And this one says youth support groups that use cognitive behavior strategies to change behaviors. And so this is about elementary education, especially elementary school age. This is about child development. So these tend to be about populations. And then this last category is really about targeted things for youth, life skills prevention, social recreation, night and weekend programs, transitional bridge programs, peer education programs, job readiness programs. And so those are kind of like, and there's not a summary. I think that dealing with educational issues around graduation, suspension, and dropout. That's the spirit of here. Targeting, doing something in the area of re-entry, something in the area of gang prevention, something in the area of family support training services, and something that targets specific services to youth. These tend to be about populations. These tend to be just the overall generic category. That's what that says. And now to the vice. Oh, yes, please.
I just want to point out the way this was structured, the way the questions were asked, the one group that's been left out, the Measure C committees, we've bantered back and forth that we wanted funded, seniors. That component's completely missing, and partially because of the way the questions are asked.
You're absolutely correct on that. And so as the conversation goes forward, we need to bring that issue back into the dialogue. But you know, we are at the end of the day. We are looking to get you out of here by 2, and so what we'd like to do is give the microphone to the one, the only Vice Mayor of East Palo Alto. Yay!
Okay, so let's
Didn't expect that.
so it looks like we'll all be seeing each other again soon. So this isn't really a goodbye, but I just want to say that our work today has been really valuable, and I think that we all believe that the Measure C funds should serve our families and youth, our youth and families, and that these programs or strategies should transform the lives of the people that we want to work with. With that, I do want to thank you, and I appreciate your commitment to the city of East Palo Alto, and I also want to thank Dr. Satterwhite, so thank you.